Nev,
Yep.
we're getting close to episode 100, so I got us a surprise. I think we need a change.
Okay. What do we got?
Some new mic stands.
Oh, hell yeah.
Check it out.
What the fuck?
This, I guess it's a little tall, but maybe we could
Well, we can adjust it, right? Or no, it doesn't go lower. Okay.
No, it doesn't go lower.
Maybe if we
we could just
can we tilt? Oh, that actually doesn't look right.
we could
maybe
we could hold them.
Well, if we hold, oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Nathan, did you measure these before ordering them?
It was final sale.
Okay, maybe we'll have to rethink this idea.
Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 98. I'm your host, Nathan, and I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left.
Thank you.
And today we are going to be talking about one of the greatest directors ever, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Hell yeah. He's my favorite filmmaker.
Your favorite, eh?
Yeah. It's been a while, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I really like his films.
Man.
Love him.
Yeah, and you're not alone in that. There's really some people who love Paul Thomas Anderson and praise him as their absolute favorite filmmaker. And he's got the filmography to back it, man. He doesn't have too many films, he's not like a Scorsese, obviously. He's had a shorter career, but the films that he has, man, are such personal, well done stories that he's definitely cemented a legacy as one of the greats.
I fully agree. I've seen about almost all of his films except Hard Eight, which is crazy because you saw that film.
Which I saw. I just got back from Dominican Republic, and on the plane, I downloaded a film. I was like, let me see what Paul Thomas Anderson films are on Prime Video.
Yeah.
And the only one was Hard Eight.
Damn.
So I was like,
Just that one.
I was like, Samuel Jackson, Casino movie. I like this Las Vegas vibe. I'm a sucker for those kind of movies.
Right.
So I was like, maybe I'll be into this. And I saw it, and there's good performances in it, but they kind of plant some seeds that don't go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little, I don't know. It's not my favorite. Definitely not my favorite. And I found out only after watching it that it was his first feature film.
Yeah, his feature debut.
I see that it's really well shot. You see the promise in him as a director for sure. But he definitely, it only goes up from there.
Oh, yeah, because right after he did Boogie Nights, which I guess we should talk about that because we both have seen Boogie Nights. 27-year-old Paul Thomas Anderson makes a film that is so good that the first time I saw it, I thought this was directed by a veteran director.
Seriously.
This seems like a film that a director would make before they die type of thing. This is my last one. I'm putting everything in it. I'm talking
It's so good.
oh my God. And then I found out, he's like, oh, I made this when I was 26. I'm like, get the fuck out. Are you serious?
It's so good. The only comparison I have, it's comparison in style and also comparison in directors in their age is Pulp Fiction and Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino was pretty young when he made Pulp Fiction.
That's true.
And the films have similar styles, I felt. Man, I love Boogie Nights.
Here's the question now, Nathan, because you brought it up. Which one would you prefer? If you were stuck on an island and you had one fucking movie between Boogie Nights and Pulp Fiction, which one would it be?
That's a really good question. I think I have to go Pulp Fiction, though.
Okay.
I think I have to go Pulp Fiction. Just, I don't know. There's so many performances I really, really love in Pulp Fiction. Not that there isn't in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Mark Wahlberg it's literally his best performance. I had seen this movie a long time. I had a vague memory of this movie.
Right.
Maybe it was given on TV or something. I saw it. But watching it back last week, man.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg is so good in this movie. He's the perfect age for it.
Yeah.
He plays it so straight, so good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's so much that goes through his life, and it's crazy when you think about it because the film goes at a pretty good pace for the most part. It doesn't just show his character arc, but it shows various other characters during this time, during this age of the porn industry where they went from film to cassette. It was very much a transitional period. A lot of people went through it in a shitty way and stuff like that. Where do they go from here?
It's fascinating. It's Oh man, what's the?
What?
Well, I'm drawing.
Oh damn! Hold on, describe it. I think I'm good at this. Hold on.
I'm
Let's do
drawing a
this.
blank. Oh, it's
What?
like Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon. Yeah.
It's like Babylon. I was drawing a blank,
Yeah,
but
no
it's like
worries.
Babylon where they go from the silent era to the like,
Soundies.
talkies. Yeah,
talkies.
it had a lot of parallels to that, but in this hilarious way because it's the porn industry. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Well, it's both funny, but also, yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
As much as I love Babylon, Babylon's great, but like, yo, Boogie Nights makes Babylon look like a fucking walk in the park, man.
for sure.
Like,
It's yeah.
I always think of the fucking. I laugh because of how dark this film is, but what is it? The fucking executive that asks Dirk Diggler to pull his pants down and just looks at his dick and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and it's just like, oh, this guy's fucked up. And then you get that interaction at the prison with him and Burt Reynolds, and it's like, it is so fucked up.
That scene is so fucked.
Yeah.
And they'll have such serious scenes, and then they'll follow it with like a hilarious scene.
Yeah.
And this movie just does the balance perfectly.
You know who's also amazing in this? There's 3 performances in this movie that I consider the best from these actors, period.
Okay, Mark Wahlberg.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds is so good.
I want to say it because a lot of people don't remember this guy. Yo, Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane was the one that wanted to rob Alfred Molina.
Yes.
He's just like, in the back, the safe. It's just like,
I was so happy to see Alfred. I was so happy to see Alfred Molina in it too.
Oh, he's great.
He's great,
He's so fucking weird in it too. But dude,
The accent he does.
when 99 Red Balloons plays and Thomas Jane is flipping out with his gun, waving around, and he's like, "We'll get that motherfucking money right now." I'm like, dude, I love this guy, and then he just gets killed instantly.
It's amazing.
It's the greatest joke, man.
It's amazing.
Oh man.
Like Boogie Nights, I think really show like at 26 years old, you make a film like that. Man,
Yeah.
you're in for a crazy career. And what does he follow up Boogie Nights with?
Magnolia.
Oh my god,
Magnolia, which
Magnolia
is
in
amazing.
1999, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so he did Boogie Nights in 97.
Yeah.
And in 99, he does Magnolia, which is no fucking easy task either. The way that story's told, again, it makes me think I'm watching a movie from a veteran director who has mastered, a basic premise and is now trying this crazy premise of like, we're getting a peek into all these people's lives and then they're connecting at the end. And Magnolia does it extremely, extremely well. I think to this day, Magnolia is an underrated film.
It very much is. I mean, like, amongst Paul Thomas Anderson fans, it's been talked about to death.
Oh, I know, but I think in general,
yeah.
like people don't talk about Magnolia for the movie that it's so good.
Yeah. Probably one of my favorite openings to a movie, period.
Yeah.
That whole music transition, like, one is the loneliest. And then they cut to every character. And it's done so freaking well, man.
One of
I'm
my
like,
favorite openings
oh,
and
man.
one of my favorite endings.
Yeah, the ending too.
It's great.
Oh my God. And again, great performances from, Tom Cruise obviously gives an amazing performance. John C. Reilly. And also, because he was also in Hard 8, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
So good.
Him and Paul Thomas Anderson. It's like fucking, they go together, man.
Yeah, and so I hadn't seen a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson. There was a couple that I was definitely missing that I'm glad we did this episode that I got to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of seeing these reoccurring, like this Tarantino verse. There's definitely
Yes.
a Paul Thomas Anderson verse.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets like some of the best performances of these actors you've ever seen.
Yeah. I think his favorite.
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly's so good in both Magnolia.
He's such a good fucking
and
actor.
Boogie Nights, yeah. Yeah.
Like he's so good.
Look, before Paul Thomas Anderson, I remember John C. Reilly from Step Brothers,
Me too.
which he was amazing in.
Yeah, but he plays some of these serious roles in this movie. And in Hard 8, he's also the main character.
Oh yeah,
And he gives a great performance in Hard 8. Like it's not my favorite movie, but he gives a great performance in it. Mm-hmm. He's a great actor, and I didn't really know until I watched these Paul Thomas Anderson movies because these are where his best performances are.
Yeah. But like you said, Magnolia, very ambitious film, but it gets it all right. And in 3 hours, you get so many emotions, you get so much. Also, I forgot to mention Julianne Moore in both Boogie Nights and Magnolia. she's just a fucking amazing actress. Like,
Crazy.
I remember in Boogie Nights, I was watching the one scene where she's talking to Mark Wahlberg and that long monologue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this is like,
It's amazing.
it's one of the best performances. Like, I want to say it's not her best, but man, it's really up there. It's really, really up there. And so many actors pull that off. It does suck, though, that Burt Reynolds didn't really like Boogie Nights.
I don't know why.
He hated the fact that his agent wanted him to do it and stuff like that, even though it's his like best work.
I know it's crazy to think that he didn't want to really do it or be there because
Yeah.
he gives such a good performance that it feels like he's really immersed in that character. But I guess that just goes to show you how good of a fucking actor Burt Reynolds is.
Oh, yeah.
And is that even if he doesn't really care about a role, he's still gonna kill it.
Yeah. It's so good, especially when like Mark Wahlberg, he comes back and he's like crying and stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry. You don't see
it's
his
great.
reaction until they hug it out. And I'm like, damn, that's a fucking...
Yeah, you don't know if he's gonna take him back or
Yes.
if he's gonna shit on him. And
Oh my
it's such a
God.
great moment.
The fucking Beach Boys song, that transition. I'm sorry. I know we're just talking about Boogie Nights and Magnolia, but
It's hard not to, man.
hard not to.
These movies are so good, and if you haven't seen them, you got to check them out.
yeah.
But
God.
okay, so so Boogie Nights, and then Magnolia,
and
which is
then-
crazy, and then Punch Drunk Love.
My favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film. That's my favorite.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films, period.
It's probably the best Adam Sandler performance. That one and
Yes.
Uncut Gems are 1 and 2 for me.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple story, but it's a great love story.
Yeah.
That works extremely well.
I know. I remember one of my profs were like talking about, it's like, what's your favorite rom-com? We were getting those types of questions for school, and I'm like, okay, you know, my favorite rom-com is Punch Drunk Love. And he's like, that's not a rom-com. That's not funny. I'm like, dude, it's fucking funny.
It's a rom-com.
It's hilarious, and it's romantic.
Yeah.
So, therefore, rom-com. So, it's my favorite. It's so good.
That's a great one. A great Sandler performance. I mean,
Yeah.
Sandler's got so many films. Like Sandler's done a couple of rom-coms before. If you haven't seen Punch Drunk Love, you're in for a treat. Like that's one of his best. It's really cool.
And that's the thing, too. Around that time, he was doing, like, Mr. Deeds, Little Nicky. He was doing those types of films. So, to get this type of role from him around that time was completely left field.
Yeah, exactly. He was really leaning into those silly comedies
Yeah.
in that time.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see him give that performance.
So, like, I think after that film, because unfortunately, I think Magnolia and Punch Drunk Love didn't make money back. So they both bombed at the box office. So Paul Thomas Anderson, I don't know what his next film was. Was it There Will Be Blood?
So we get a break from 2002. He doesn't make a film till 2007.
It's about 5 years. Okay.
And boy, does he come back correct.
That's a fucking hit.
Holy shit.
That's a fucking hit right there.
There Will Be Blood. I got to shout out my boy, August McDonald, because for my birthday, he sent me a Blu-ray copy of There Will Be Blood because he heard I hadn't seen it. And wow. Now I understand the Daniel Day-Lewis hype.
Nah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I really understand the Daniel Day-Lewis hype. This guy,
Daniel Day-Lewis has been just fucking ever since I think it was My Left Foot. He's been getting the Oscar buzz.
Yeah.
Ever since then, and it's just.
but he gets lost in these characters. When you see like a Robert De Niro performance, sometimes it could be a great performance, but he's still kind of doing De Niro.
Yeah.
When you see it, you know what I mean? But what is doing Daniel Day-Lewis? He gets lost in these characters. He's not recognizable.
Daniel Day-Lewis isn't going to be doing Dirty Grandpa too. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I get where you're coming from.
You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
like the greatest actors, they have like a typecast or like a kind of style
Very much.
that a fit for a movie. But this guy just gets lost in these roles. And There Will Be Blood really changed my outlook on him. Wow, this is a crazy performance. What a great film. What a great character study.
Yeah.
And the way it starts off has you feeling bad for this guy, and has you feeling good when he starts to make this money.
Yep.
Because they start off with that scene where he breaks his leg.
Yeah.
And he's grinding. He's grinding in
does.
this, like, it looks like the hardest job in the world. And then you see he starts making his money.
Yeah.
And he's starting his, like, it feels like a real local business. And you root for this guy. And then you're so far rooting for him, and then you're like, oh, he's a piece of shit.
He's like the worst kind of
He's
person
like the
imaginable.
worst fucking guy ever, and I
Yeah.
wanted him to succeed for the first half, and that really resonated with me. It was really effective in doing that and changing my view on this guy. By the end, you're like, fuck this guy. I
Fuck
can't wait
this
for him to
guy.
die.
Yeah, Daniel Plainview, one of those characters that I think one of my favorite monologues from him, because it really shows the isolation of him, is when he talks to his supposed brother, who wasn't his brother.
Yeah.
He basically just talks about how he hates most people, and that if he lived a life where he didn't even interact with his son or anyone like that, it would be a lot more peaceful for him. And the fact that he has to succeed in life to interact with people, and he's just like, I fucking hate them. And then you just cut back to the guy, and he's just like, oh, I'm probably gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get killed by this man. And it shows it's very, very disturbing. And another performance you probably enjoyed as well was Paul Dano.
Yes, Paul Dano. a
Motherfucker
younger-
was like 25, 24.
super young Paul Dano. I
Right off the
mean,
bat.
playing a crazy guy like beautifully, like he always fucking does.
Oh, yeah. I think, Matt Reeves saw like There Will Be Blood like 50 times. And it's like, all right, that's my Riddler.
Yeah,
That's
for
my
sure.
Riddler right there.
It's just Riddler, right? I mean, it's just a priest Riddler.
Yeah. Oh, man. But it also signified that sense of like religion and how dependent that was at the time, and how Daniel Plainview was like, you couldn't make my boy here again. You're a fucking bastard or whatever. And then in the next, or in later on in the scene, his fucking son is back as an adult, and he's like, you're fucking bastard. It's like he just hates people.
Man, that shit with his son, when he sent his son away, man, I was
Man.
I was just like so physically fucking pissed off. Like I'm like, fuck.
It's just sad.
This movie is
It's a sad,
It takes
sad
you on this
movie.
emotional roller coaster that's so effective,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't believe I hadn't seen that one sooner. So shout out to Augie Mack for putting me on that one.
Yeah. I remember watching an interview with Daniel DayLewis about his performance as Daniel Plainview, and I fully realized this. He kind of sounds like John Ford, an old classic director.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, but like he uses a lot of those like references from like back in the day to like see how he can talk in his movies. So I was like, oh yeah, that is just kind of, what if John Ford was like a fucking psychotic,
Right.
oil salesman or whatever.
I'm an oil man.
I'm an oil man. I drink your milkshake.
So,
Then he fucking kills him in the bowling alley. It's
holy
great.
shit, that scene is great too.
Cinematic.
What a movie and what a character study.
Oh my God.
That movie's crazy. So,
And then 5 years after that, he does The Master, which I think I recommended for you to watch.
yeah, you were the one who put me on The Master with little warning of how fucked it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a Joaquin Phoenix performance. It's so beautifully shot. I mean, I still have that shot of him on the boat in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Such a fantastic shot. Like that shot really resonates with me. That movie is another, he's mastered these character studies. I
Yeah.
think in the 2000s, he really started to go for these like single character study pieces.
Yeah.
And they work like it may not have your traditional story arc, and maybe sometimes some of these movies not too much even happens, but you can't look away for 1 second. The way it's shot, the writing, the way they build up these characters, they're so interesting. You can't look away.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Master.
And The Master's a great example of that.
Definitely not a film about Scientology. It's definitely not a film.
Definitely not.
It's a completely different cult. It's sad that this was Philip Seymour Hoffman and Paul Thomas Anderson's last film together, but what a way to go still. It's still an amazing performance from him. Amy Adams is great in this.
Yeah. Everybody's great.
Rami Malek has a brief performance, but
Yeah.
still, like, I love his presence. I like when he has smaller roles, because you don't expect him, and then when he appears, it's like, oh, he's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, damn. But The Master was real. I always think about the scene where Joaquin Phoenix is in the jail cell with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, man.
Breaking the fucking toilet and just full on rage, and they're arguing with each other, and it's like, oh man, that it's so natural. It feels like a real like argument over like just complete bullshit from both of them.
Yeah, it's just such believable performances in his films that
Yeah.
you're just so immersed. You're in it.
Really, really good stuff overall.
What's
and then
what's
2
after
years
The
later,
Master? Oh, this is one I haven't
Inherent Vice. Okay, so I gotta mention how this movie was. Watching this film, I feel like I recommend anyone who wants to see it to be Not sober, if you know what I mean.
Huh.
It's one of those films, I personally believe. It's set in the 70s. Joaquin Phoenix plays a drugged detective. He's very high throughout the entire film. And there's moments in the film where you can't tell if it's really happening or if it's not.
He's kind of imagining it.
He's kind of imagining shit, and he's trying to find out what the fuck's going on, you know. And there's so many sequences in this film that are so awesome. Literally, there's one scene in it where I had to watch it 6 times over. The scene alone.
Really?
When I was on the TV, I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? So I
Right.
rewind it again. I'm like, wait,
Still
what?
not sure?
Are they high and they're imagining the phone call, or is the phone call like, when does it become fake and when does it? And I'm like, I love this. And then right after that scene, it's him and I believe his girlfriend running in the rain, and the music's raising up and the narration, and they're both like hugging each other, and it's like, wow, this is really fucking good. I don't know what the hell is happening in this film.
One of those movies.
That's
cool.
Don't expect to follow this story because I don't even know. I've seen this twice and
And you don't even know.
I don't, but I love it.
I mean, yeah, it's got a good cast. Owen Wilson's in that.
Yeah.
Does he have a big role or kind of a side part?
2 scenes.
Oh,
I
okay.
think. I remember 2 scenes. Benicio del Toro is really good. Martin Short has a amazing scene. He's only in it briefly, but holy fuck, he's good in it.
Very cool.
Josh Brolin and Joaquin Phoenix. Those are probably the highlight performances.
Yeah, this is one I'm definitely gonna check out because
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Thomas. I'll watch anything of his for sure.
Oh yeah. Would recommend.
After 2014, where does he go?
He goes
to Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread,
in
which
2017.
is Daniel Day-Lewis's last film he did before he retired, which I think is amazing to think about. Like, he's done acting.
Are you sure about that? Like, do you believe? Like, I know that was like the big thing that was going to be his last performance.
Marlon Brando said he retired in 1980 and he came back to acting 9 years later.
Right.
He has not acted in a film since. Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
has not acted in a film since. He might be in the future, but I doubt it. He seems like a very, like, he's not... nobody knows what he's doing right now.
I mean, yeah, he's
very reclusive.
he's always been such a mysterious guy.
Yeah.
And it adds to his performances because I don't know how the hell Daniel Day-Lewis, like, I don't know anything about him. I don't know his personality. I don't really know how he acts because he disappears in these characters, so you
Yeah.
don't get any of him in them, really.
Yeah.
And then outside of these films, you never see him, you never hear about him.
No.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, it's like old school actors, how like old school actors like didn't make many appearances, and to me that's like a page from the old school book of acting, and I think it's really cool.
Well, it's like back in the day, yeah, actors, like, you know, they had their own personal lives. They didn't have to deal with TMZ.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know, on TMZ, Humphrey Bogart and fucking Spencer Tracy, they were in a fist fight. It's like, I don't fucking care. Like, Daniel Day-Lewis is the same way, where it's like, I don't need to know his personal life. I think his professionalism really does come down to, I'm an actor. I'm going to fucking act in these movies. Phantom Thread is my last one, and I'm going to retire because he's won like, what, 2-3 Oscars in his career?
Yeah.
He's got so much acclaim within his work, and he's like, I don't feel like I can do any more now. Mentally speaking, I feel like I'm good, and Phantom Thread is so
fair
good.
enough. Phantom Thread is crazy.
Oh my god, I love it. It's one of those films. I don't know if you think about it, but there's some films that are good to have with like a nice drink. There's some films that are good with like
yeah.
a nice meal. This feels like a great movie to watch with like coffee.
Hell yeah.
Like a nice coffee, like on a sunny day. Like, I don't know.
It's another one of these movies where not a lot happens,
Yeah.
but it's a masterful character study. Mr. Woodcock, is his character. What's it? Do you remember his first name?
First name, no,
don't-
it's been a while.
Mr. Woodcock.
But
is
yeah, he's got a
fantastically
colorful
played.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phantom Thread. Let me see. Reynolds Woodcock. Yeah.
Reynolds Woodcock. Yeah.
But
What a character.
what I really liked about this movie was the relationship and also the cinematography, which Paul Thomas Anderson does as well. He does the cinematography, directing,
Damn.
writing. This is all him.
The cinematography is so dope. Even
Yeah.
scenes where they're like sewing, I'm like so interested because it's so
Yeah.
well shot. It's incredible the way it's done.
If you told me just like talking alone, like just like the premise, like, all right, Phantom Thread stars Daniel Day-Lewis, I'm like, I'm sold, but like, what is it about? It's like,
Yeah.
he makes like dresses.
Guy who makes dresses
I'm like,
and
dresses.
and he's like kind of an awkward guy, and
Yeah,
It's
and I'm
like,
just
it's
like,
a hard premise to like. It's hard. It's a hard film to recommend to your friend.
yeah, and I'm not. I get it. This movie did not make Avengers money, because this film is made for. I feel like this was made for an older audience, which I love. I love
Yeah.
when movies are like, there's nothing there's no profanity, there's no like action or anything like that, but
No.
this just feels like an older film.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, the movie gets twisted quick too. By the end, you're like, "What the fuck is? You guys are all fucking crazy."
Oh,
Like,
yeah. No, they're all fucking crazy. But what's cool about it is like it seems like an old story you tell people.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you won't believe this, man.
Yeah.
It's like, she gets him sick all the time, and then they just kind of, that's their relationship.
and he loves it.
He loves it because he's into it. It's just like, what? That's the fucked up Paul Thomas Anderson I like in these movies.
Yeah,
There's
I like
always
it.
that.
It's
little...
really just a story about a real fucking crazy toxic relationship.
Speaking of toxic relations, let's get into his latest film, Licorice Pizza.
Oh, that's one I didn't get to see. Tell me about Licorice Pizza.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, so the movie is also set in the 70s. Paul Thomas Anderson loved the 70s, but I feel like he's like one of the only directors that actually illustrates the 70s environment well. Ever since Boogie Nights. I mean, that's
Oh, he masters the 70s in Boogie Nights. From
Yeah.
then on, he could do it. Yeah.
exactly. And he did it for that, Inherent Vice, and now Licorice Pizza. So that film is about like this child star who like falls in love with like an older girl who's like in her late teens, early 20s, I believe, but he's like 15. He really wants to get with her, and she's like, no, I can't. And their relationship is kind of like, we're kind of together, but we're kind of not, because I'm seeing this person and I'm kind of seeing this person. Like they both split up and then come back and then split up and come. It's such a weird
Right.
fucking relationship, but it shows the magical cinema world of the 70s while also being sexist, misogynistic, racist. Like it shows all of
Yeah.
that. And it doesn't show it in a way that's just like, whoa. It's just, no, it's very glossed over because it's the 70s. It's like, well, what's the big deal?
It's kind of just matter of fact. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it was. And
Yeah, like
And it's fucked
fucking
up, but we're
Sean
not.
Penn is like the girl in it is like trying to get with him, even though he's like 40 years older than her, and it's just like, no, that's the thing that they did in Hollywood.
this is a great cast.
Oh, it's fucking
It's
amazing.
a stack cast. Benny Safdie's in this.
Oh my god, his
He's great in it.
role in it is so fucking good. He plays like a fucking I don't know if he's trying to be a senator. He's trying to be a senator and stuff, and then the reveal, what you find out, because he's also in a relationship with the girl. It's fucking nuts, but it's all done super well. I think the one thing I was watching it and I was like, I love so many things, but it doesn't come together as well as I thought it would. It's currently my least favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, but I think I'm going to watch it again just
Yeah.
because it's one of those films where it's like,
You could tell that there's still a lot of positives in it, great
Yeah.
performances, and it might be one that a rewatch could up your score for sure.
yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, I finished watching it. I'm like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Like as a whole, I loved parts of it, but not the whole experience. So I might watch that again sometime. But
Wow.
yeah,
What a
That's
what
his-
a
that's
filmography.
his
It was cool to go
filmography.
through his filmography top to bottom like that, and really made me appreciate him as a director.
yeah.
I'm really glad I started watching these movies, and I will watch anything Paul Thomas Anderson
Now,
going forward.
Before we end off, what is your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film? I already said Punch Drunk Love. What would be yours?
It's hard. It's a really tough one. Right now it's There Will Be Blood.
Hell yeah.
That movie had a huge impact on me when I saw it, but fuck, Boogie Nights. The Master is so good. Punch Drunk Love is so good. Magnolia
Yeah.
is so good.
Oh,
It's hard to pick, and I think maybe someday down the line that might change, just because he has such an evergreen filmography that I know I'm gonna go back and rewatch these films.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm gonna give it to There Will Be Blood.
Good stuff.
Let us know your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film in the comments. We're interested in knowing. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to your boys. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Brush your hair.
Peace out.